everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crafty Beer Reviews. Today I will be reviewing a very special beer. This right here is Avery Momi Hiwa. This is a gigantic Imperial coconut porter that was aged in rum barrels for 6 months. And what's really cool about this one is it's supposed to taste like a liquid Mounds bar, which just sounds super tasty. So they used toasted coconut in it, and then they aged it in rum barrels for 6 months. And I am just really excited to finally try this one. I've heard some really good things, so without further ado, let's go ahead and take our first sniff. Oh, wow. First thing I get is definitely big coconut. I get some vanilla sweetness in there. There's a lot of chocolate. There's like a milk chocolate, a dark chocolate, rich roasty notes. I get some burnt sugar, some kind of like a brown sugar molasses in there. Definitely some caramel and toffee notes. I'm getting some of that rum characteristic. A hint of oak, but not a ton. And I'm really shocked. For being over 17%, this does not smell boozy at all, which is really weird. But wow, yeah, it smells really sweet, but big coconut, big vanilla, big chocolate. I am super excited to try this, so let's go ahead and take our first sip. Wow. Wow. That is crazy smooth for how big it is. I am genuinely shocked right now. Oh my god. Well, the first thing I get is definitely that coconut. I'm getting a lot of that vanilla up front too. That fades into kind of the brown sugar molasses type of characteristic. I'm definitely getting big dark chocolate. I'm also getting a sweeter milk chocolate in there. There's definitely some caramel, some toffee. I am getting the rum characteristic. It kind of has that spiciness you get in some rums. I'm getting a little bit of oak, but not too much. It's further towards the back end. It's got, it's not quite a full body, but it has a pretty creamy coating mouthfeel to it. And of course, being this strong, there's pretty much no carbonation. It's not completely flat, but there's definitely not much there. For being 17%, it is smooth. However, I'm not going to lie, as it goes down, you definitely feel that warmth. But you really can't taste the booze, and you can't smell the alcohol, which is super surprising. But you know, Avery does a lot of these big, bad, barrel-aged beers, so it kind of makes sense they know what they're doing at this point. But wow, this is a dessert beer, like literally in a glass. I would not say that it reminds me of a Mounds bar necessarily, but the fact that you get those big chocolatey, roasty notes, the milk chocolate, you do get the coconut and the vanilla. This is just super nice. Being so big though, and being decently sweet, obviously it is quite the sipper. You're not going to be able to run through this very quickly at all. The other thing too is that what I really enjoy is, despite it being sweet, I don't find it cloying. I actually think a little bit of that alcohol heat on the back end, along with some of those oaky notes that are kind of faint, help to cut some of that sweetness so it's not overpowering. That being said though, if you are not a fan of boozy beers and you're not a fan of sweeter beers, probably one not to bother with. But if this sounds good, I think it's definitely worth checking out. As far as a rating, guys, I'm going with a 9.3 out of 10. I think this is really good for what it is. I'm so impressed that a 17% beer can even come close to being drinkable, because that's almost like a liqueur at this point, and that's kind of what it looks like. That's kind of what it feels like. Really good beer, and I would suggest seeking it out if you like dessert beers. Alright guys, so for my musical recommendation tonight, I am going with a group called Two Bob Crew. They're a world music group, so they don't have any singing, but they have a lot of really unique instruments. They have a lot of upbeat stuff. It's super cool. They have some really interesting instruments beyond your basic bass, guitar, drums. They have so many crazy instruments I can't even think of all of them. But I want you to check out their 2005 record that is self-titled. It's a really, really good record. And they also have another one called TK2, which came out in 2010. Another great record if you want to check that out as well. Alright guys, that does it for me. And I hope whatever you're doing involves good craft beer. See ya.